Hello, and welcome to a new episode of the Wool and Twine Fiber Studio Knitting Podcast. My name is Jule, and I'm the dye and maker behind Wool and Twine Fiber Studio, which is a small creative space located here in northern Germany, where I play with botanical dyes and natural yarns. Welcome back to a new video, and if you're new here, a warm welcome from me. I'm so happy to have you here. Today I am back from a little bit of a not really hiatus in the summer, but I spent some time off holiday. It was holiday time for me for a week, and so the rhythm of shop updates and like updating what I'm dyeing is a little bit different this month. So if you are new here, I should maybe mention that I record these videos to showcase everything that I've been working on this past month, so you can see what's going to be available in a new shop launch. So everything I'm going to show to you today is going to be available in my shop. And for those who have really never heard about what I'm doing, is I am a natural yarn dyer, so I dye yarns with botanical dyes, so with plants, and I also get all of my yarn bases custom spun for my business. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do, and I really like to showcase the colorways that I'm making in movement and natural light as well as I can, because I believe that this is the best way to showcase them compared to just taking photos of them. So yeah, that's usually what I like to do in these monthly preview videos. At the moment we're more in like a 6 weeks rhythm, and that's mostly because it's summer and there are a lot of other exciting things going on in the background, so I can't update you on those yet. However, stay tuned because they're really exciting, and I wholeheartedly recommend you to subscribe to this channel if you want to be notified whenever I upload a new video, or actually sign up for my newsletter, which is the best way to stay in contact with me and get informed about any new updates. And I can tell that in a very, maybe a few weeks time, if even from this time on, there will be something very exciting coming. So I wholeheartedly recommend you to sign up for the newsletter if you don't want to miss it, because especially with how social media is going on at the moment, I think it's the best way to be on email lists if you want to make sure that you're not missing out on anything, because social media is a bit all over the place, I guess, at the moment. So yeah, but without further ado, let me give you a little bit of an overview of what I've been up to. So these past weeks, I have been dyeing quite some bases, one of them being our summer blend linnen, which is a blend of flax fibers and wool, available in 2 yarn weights. And I've also dyed a restock of our beloved natural and non-superwash sock yarn ovis, which has not been in the shop for a while. So I thought, it's summer, it's nice to have small projects on the needles, at least that's for me. So I decided to also dye a batch of ovis, because it's very easy to work in the summer, I guess. So yeah, without further ado, let me give you a bit of a recap of our linnen base. Linnen is my summer blend that I created, I believe, 2 years ago. And for me, I'm not necessarily a summer blend knitter or like plant fiber, cellulose fiber knitter. So for me, I wanted something that would feel lightweight and breathable and nice and summery. However, I wanted it to still have the woolly touch and not too much of like the crispiness that some plant fibers can have. So with linen, I try to, do it in the way that we have the best of both worlds. And this is a blend of 25% flax fibers and 75% blue-faced Leicester fibers, so British wool. And this is how it looks like. The flax fibers and the BFL are both in like a natural color, resulting in this, I think it looks a bit dark on screen at the moment, but let me see if I can adjust the lighting a little bit. But yeah, this is linen, and it's this blend of natural unbleached flax fibers and blue-faced Leicester sheep wool. So it results in this beautiful, soft, beigey color that actually is very close to the natural color of flax, which I really, really like because it's kind of like resembling the natural unbleached shade of this. And yeah, this is linen, and it comes in 2 yarn weights. So one of them is this one. This is the 4-ply weight version. It is a fingering weight, 350 meters per 100 grams. So this one is more of like a lightweight summery yarn weight, and it has 2 plies. So again, I know this always causes confusion that I'm saying 4-ply, even though spinning technique wise it's just 2 strands plied together. But 4-ply is an old way of saying it in the British wool industry, and since I work with British mills mostly, this just makes sense for me to call it that way. Plus, fingering is a really long word to both write and say, so it's easier for me to stick to like one or the other. So this is a fingering weight, has 2 plies, but it's called linen 4-ply. You can see here that it has 2 plies. And then we also have the DK weight version, which has 3 plies. I don't know if you can see, but it's a bit more round, I would say, in the thread. Let me put them side by side so you can see. So this one is linen 4-ply and this one is linen DK. And they will both be available in this upcoming shop update. However, I also want to put a disclaimer here. This is the last time this will be available this year. So if you've been looking for this yarn base, then now is the time to grab it, because yeah, after this last batch of the spin is gone, I have nothing in stock anymore, and I won't get it respun until probably, I don't know, early next year. So yeah, now's the chance to grab it. And yeah, this is in its natural colorway. And I also wanted to share, I hope to share these also a bit more in depth in another podcast episode that I hope to find time to record soon. But these are some new samples that were made in linen, just because I thought I wanted to showcase it a little bit more and what you can do with it. So this one is a new sample, and this is the Avenue Tea by Tori Yu, I think is how her name is pronounced. So Tori Knits in NYC or something is her. I'm definitely going to put her info down below and somewhere in the corner so you can reference. But yeah, this is the Avenue Tea, and it's a very nice simple t-shirt pattern. I don't know if you can see. It has a very simple construction, but very great fit, and I love the tight neckline. I don't know, for some reason I really like tight necklines. I don't really like when there is like a huge opening, so I guess this was just calling my name very much. And I think it was released this year if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, this is just very sweet, and this was knitted in linen 4-ply. And I absolutely love how it turned out. The neckline especially. I don't know if you can see. But yeah, I really like the tight neckline, and also the little neat details on the cuffs and also on the ribbing down here. And the colorway I used for this one is Cedar, which is not available currently, but I'm going to share some alternatives with you in a bit. However, this is the Avenue Tea that I wanted to share with you. It also has this beautiful shoulder construction. I don't know if that's even visible. Maybe from the back it's easier to see. No. But yeah, it has a very beautiful, well-fitting shoulder construction, and overall it's just a very nice fitting tee. So I'm definitely going to insert some clips of me wearing it, just so you can see how it fits. However, I'm also going to post my Ravelry project down below with all info on how much yarn was used, what needle size we used, and I believe this was even like below 300 grams of linen 4-ply, so in a size 5 probably, because that's usually what I go for. I just don't remember anymore, to be honest, because this has been finished for a while. But yeah, approximately 300 grams for a size 5, which I guess is quite good because you can really go quite far with it. And here you can also see like how it knits up in this like very nice heathery look that results from the flax fibers taking the color slightly differently than the wool fibers. So yeah, I really like that it's a bit more heathery and not that like super solid, almost like it's not variegated, but maybe like almost tonal. I don't know if you can see, but I just really like the effect of the flax fibers within the knitted piece. So yeah, beautiful pattern, very nice to follow, very nice, nicely written, and in general I really like Tori's tea patterns, so I guess this might not have been the last one for me. So yeah, that is sample number 1. And then for a little bit more inspiration, there is a second one, this time in linen DK, and this one is the Jesu, I don't know how to pronounce this one, Jesu sweater by Vera Välimäki, and it's a very nice textured tee or like sweater with short sleeves kind of pattern. Oh, it's a bit wrinkly, I'm sorry. I tried to put it on a hanger and have it nice and beautiful for the preview, but you know, sometimes it just wrinkles up. But yes, this is the Jesu, and it has this very simple texture that is just resulting from alternating knit and purl stitches, so nothing too complicated here. It has this also very relatively tight neckline that I really like, and a very relaxed and boxy fit. The shoulders are made with a European shoulder construction. I don't know if you can see here. Yes. So you first cast on for the back and then you cast on the fronts. Or you pick up stitches for the fronts, which results in this very neat neckline. No, not neckline. How do you call it? Shoulder line, I guess. And yeah, I'm also going to make sure I will have some wearing clips of this one, but it's super nice and easy to just throw over a dress or something, because it's very boxy and fit and just very simple to just pop over something, I guess. So yeah, this one is knitted in linen DK, and I think it was just below 400 grams in this case, also in a size 5. So yeah, quite a generous sizing that you can achieve from just 400 grams of linen DK. And you can also see the drape in this one quite well, that it's like nice and drapey, no crispiness from any like cellulose fibers or so, because you know, sometimes cotton yarns or like cellulose yarns in general can be a little bit stiff to my liking. So this one definitely is not that. You can see it's nice and drapey, and it flows nicely. So this is the Jesu pattern. The colorway, I should know this, right? It might have been soft rose from last time's restock that I had it, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's like this muted rosy tone. But yeah, sorry that I'm such a mess. However, this is my Jesu sweater. Absolutely adoring the texture. I can't wait to make more textured garments again. I don't know, I'm kind of, maybe because I'm currently working a very nice stockinette stitch project, I'm really craving more texture again, so this just reminded me of that. But yeah, this is the Hirsu sweater, and I really like it. Also, wholeheartedly recommend the pattern. And then, lastly, I also, oh yeah, I can also show you the swatches. So this one is the stockinette swatch from the Avenue Tee, and it's 22 stitches times 30. Sorry, I will clarify the swatch needle size. I'm not 100% sure if I wrote down the right thing here, but I would say it's probably a 3.5 or 3.25. Anyhow, this one is the one from the Hirsu sweater, and this one was made on 4.5mm needles, and it's an 18 times 26 stitches swatch. So there you go. I'm sorry for the chaotic light again. I promise I will fix this situation at some point. It's just that it requires quite some time to find a completely new setup for everything. So yeah, until then we kind of need to work with this, I guess. But yeah, it's kind of like really cloudy at first, and then the sun came in, and then we are having the craziest summer. I don't know about you, but we're having the craziest summer that's pretty much between heat wave and complete like rain disaster for weeks. So I'm not sure where this is even going, but yeah. Anyhow, I also wanted to share these with you. You might have seen on Instagram that I posted these a little bit earlier, a couple of weeks ago, but we are thinking about options on how to use up yarn scraps from projects. And this is an example on how we use some scraps from the previous project. So this one is from the Avenue Tee, so the linen 4-ply base, and this one is linen DK, leftovers from the Hirsu sweater. Wow. And this is, these are some like cute little scrunchies that we made out of the scraps, and just with like a recipe pattern. There are a lot of them out there if you just Google them. But I think Emma's Knits has a very good one. I'm gonna post her, I think it's an Instagram reel that she has with the info. But yeah, I'm just definitely going to post it down below. How you can see my eye through them. But yeah, these are the cute little scrunchies, and I think they're very fun to make and at the same time very easy. And you know, I think we kind of always have leftovers, at least most of the time. So it's always nice to have an option on what to do with them. So yeah, this is just one to let you know, because yeah, this also brings me to the part where I always want to remind you, because I'm like in a week, I don't know how many it is, but usually I receive between, I don't know, 3 to 5 emails from people who are running out of yarn for their projects, and then they are asking me if I might have some leftovers or something to spare with. And the problem is, as much as I would love to, I cannot, because most of the time, like, every dye bath is different with natural dyes. It's very hard to repeat a colorway with natural dyes. So actually, when one colorway is gone, I cannot, like, even if I would re-dye, it's not necessarily easy to combine them. So what I always recommend is to really double check how much yarn you need for your project, and don't hesitate to run it by me. And we can always, like, you know, it's 2 brains is always better than 1, so we can always think about it together. Like, I'm always here to help you with this decision, because especially now, like, that this spin run is like going to the end of it all, it's important that you choose the right amount for your project, because I cannot provide you with more. And I mean, not trying to sell you anything that you don't need, but I would always recommend, if you're like on the fence, maybe calculate in some safety and rather get a skein more than too little, because there are many options out there what you can do with like one skein of yarn, or just like leftovers, such as the scrunchies that I just showed. There are so many options that you have for these things, and maybe that should be a video that I can do in the future about my favorite like one skein projects, because there are many ways to use another like one skein that you might have too much, and it's always better to have too much yarn than running out while you were just finishing your project. That is really bad when it happens, and I'm always really sorry when I hear about it. So yeah, just stressing that, you know, we always have options to use up yarn, and if you're on the fence about amounts, always feel free to email me. I'm going to put all my info down below so you can reach me. But yeah, just wanted to stress again and tell you that there are a million cute little things to do with leftovers. Wow, I've already rambled for over 20 minutes and I haven't even showed you the colorways. Wow. Anyhow, I'm going to share the colorways that we have on the linen base now. And just so you know, I'm going to show them on the 4-ply base, and they will be available on 4-ply and DK weight. So on the 350 meters per 100 gram version and the 230 meters per 100 gram version. Plus, if you want to reference the yarn facts back and, you know, double check the fiber content and everything, I have a base page that is linked. Well, I can never remember which side it is, but one of those sides, and also down below, where you can find all info about the yarn base again, as well as a link to my pattern suggestion Ravelry bundle, where you can see a lot of suitable patterns for each yarn. So yeah, in case you want to reference that back, there is the whole base page. And now, I guess without further ado, I'm going to get my basket where I put all the yarns that I already showed below, so I know that I showed you the colors. And let me finally show you what we've dyed on linen. So for this palette this time, as a reminder, there is the undyed shade, and I'm going to start off with the neutrals and try to show them next to the wait, sorry, this was the DK weight, so I'm going to show it this way. I'm going to show the neutrals next to the undyed so you can see them side by side. Starting off with sand. This one is a nice neutral beige that I really love to combine with like a black or like a dark gray. I think it's just very pretty and yeah, very lively, a bit more warm than the undyed, just as a reference point. So if the undyed is a bit too grayish for you, then this one might be a good option. So this one is sand. Next up we have moonstone. Whoops, my hair is in the way. Which is more of like a grayish purpley neutral, and I absolutely love this one. It's very elegant, I think, and also great for unisex projects. So this one is moonstone, and also next to the undyed, so you can get an idea of the shade. So it's more purpley grayish in undertone than the neutral undyed. Then next up we have this one, and it's called Sage, and this is kind of in between a neutral and a color, I guess, because it's a very light wash of cold green color over the gray base, resulting in this very soft neutral-ish green. I don't know if that's visible. I'm gonna show it next to the undyed again so you can see the hue. Now the light is changing a little bit again. I hope we're gonna be fine. But you can see it's a bit more like bluish, greenish compared to the undyed. So this is the undyed and this is Sage. I hope it's kind of visible. It's very hard to show naturally dyed colors, I guess. So those were the neutrals. I'm gonna put them all together so you can have an idea. So this one is the undyed. Next up, oh, right, sorry, my hands are too small to hold more skeins. Next up we have sage, then we have sand and moonstone on this side, just for your comparison. And next up I will continue with the more pinkish purpley shades, starting off with like almost a classic by now. This one is Dahlia, and it's like a reddish pink. Here you can see the heathering from the from the flax really well, and how it kind of affects the shade and gives it a lot of liveliness to it, I guess. So yeah, this one is Dahlia. Very pretty, very elegant, I would say. And it's, you know, I'm not usually a huge fan of like proper pinks, because I'm more of like, I like to wear warm tones. I have never done one of those like color theory, color wheel thingies. But I definitely think that this is the type of pink that I would like to wear. Like, I prefer the more warm toned pinks to the more cool toned pinks personally. So that's how I would describe it. It's more like a warm toned pink. So this one is Dahlia. Next up, speaking about pinks, we have Tea Rose, which is a more coolish, dusty pink. Also very pretty, I would say. And here it is next to Dahlia, so you can see the difference. So this has more cool undertones, and this is more reddish in undertone, I would say. Next up, in more of the reddish purpley category, is this one, and it's called Grape. This is like a dark reddish purple, and you can really see the heathering of the flax fibers in this one. It has a lot of different shades throughout, if you can see that. It's almost like a tonal more than like a solid color. I think it's quite cool. So this one is called Grape. And then I will transition into the more like brownish warm shades. This one is Chocolate, and it has been in the last launch and was sold pretty quickly, so I tried to recreate it as well as I could. And this one is like a warm reddish undertoned dark brown. Absolutely loving it. So these are Grape and Chocolate side by side, as well as, let me put them up together, as well as Tea Rose and Dahlia. So Dahlia is here, then Tea Rose, Grape, and Chocolate. I think this is the best way to show them. Yes, another brown tone that we have here is Acorn, and we had this one in our last collection as well, and it was very popular. So this one is Acorn, and it is not the same shade as Cedar, but I would say that you could use it kind of to create a similar shade. Cedar is a bit more reddish in undertone, but if you wanted to make an Avenue tea similar to mine, what is this even? Like, how am I even holding this? You could use Acorn. It's a bit more yellowish, olivey in comparison to Cedar, but I think it could make a very beautiful and similar version. So that one is Acorn. Next up we have Harvest, and this one is a super nice golden yellow, golden mustardy kind of yellow, which, to be honest, I think this would make a perfect transition piece, because it's going to be autumn soon-ish. I know we're not really thinking about that in July, but still, it's going to be autumn soon. And with linen, you know, because it only has 25% flax, this is perfect for transition pieces too. So you can really use this for, you know, days where it's like not, you don't want to wear a really heavy sweater yet, but it's kind of like chilly and you want something to put over, but nothing too heavy. This is the perfect yarn for it because it's still warm-ish, but also breathable, and I don't know, I think it would be a good choice for transition pieces. So this one is Harvest. And then last but not least, we have Lime, which is a kind of lime green, but muted. So not like in your face lime green, but more like a muted lime green. Let me put it next to Harvest so you can see how they play together. And maybe next to Acorn so you can see the shades together. I hope this is even helpful, I don't know. But yeah, just trying my best. I can also maybe to show sand next to it so you have an idea of the more brownish neutrally shades. So here are they. And that brings me to the end. These are all shades that we dyed on linen, and as a reminder, they will also be available on the DK weight version. So you can choose whichever project you want to make, and you're not limited to like one yarn weight if you like a specific color. So yeah, that is all doable. And I guess without further ado, let me get to the next section. All right, on to the next section. The other yarn base that will be restocked in this launch is Ovis, which is our non-superwash and plastic-free all woolen sock yarn that has been around for quite a while. It is also custom spun for me, and there have been a lot of praises and good words about this yarn lately, which makes me so happy because this was in the making for over 2 years before I finally released it back in 2023, I believe. So yeah, it is a fully just woolen sock yarn with a slightly higher twist to you know, ensure a bit more durability without any artificial fibers added. And it's a blend of 50% Jacobs and 50% Cheviot wool, spun to a 375 meters per 100 grams, so slightly thicker than your traditional 400 meters per 100 grams sock yarn. And that is because the tighter the gauge, the more durability you will also achieve, and therefore I went for a slightly heavier weight for the sock yarn compared to what you might see in most commercial sock yarns. However, it's still doable to knit any kind of sock pattern with it, and you also have plenty for a pair of socks in one skein up until probably a size 46 or something. I haven't tried anything larger than that because I have no one in my surrounding that I would knit socks for that would wear something larger than a 46. However, there really is plenty. Like, I can actually make 2 pairs of shorties out of one skein of Ovis for my European 36 foot. So I guess, yeah, there should be, like, one skein should be enough for a pair of socks. And yeah, I absolutely love this yarn, and it's yeah, it has grown into being one of my absolute favorites, and I can't believe that we didn't have it in the shop, because I usually restock it quite regularly, but I don't know, for some reason you completely wiped us out of this space recently, so I did my best to re-dye some colorways, and even some very special ones that I will save until the end. But first of all, if you're new here, I wanted to share that this yarn is available in 2 colorways, 2 natural colorways. So this one is the undyed ecru, and this is the undyed gray. And I usually try to kind of mix dyeing on both of these because it's very interesting to see what happens when you dye over different colors of a base. So yeah, these are the 2 undyed shades that will also be restocked for this shop update. So Perfect if you want to do something color worky and you need a neutral base. These are great for that. And I guess without further ado, let me start sharing some of the neutrals with you, like we did with the linen base. This one is the first one, and it is called Almond, and it's a nice warm beige. A little bit warmer than sand, but yeah, great if you want to have a color work base that is warm undertoned. I always try to offer like a warmish beige and then the under gray, because I think if you want to do a color work and you want something neutral as a base, it's very crucial if you have a cool or a warm undertone. So I always try to like restock them relatively often. So yeah, that one is Almond. Next up, almost a neutral, I would say, we have Antique, and this is like a yellowy green. Next up we have this colorway, and it is called Wither, because it reminded me of withering greenery, because it's a very interesting colorway. Depending on what angle you look at it from, it's between a warmish beige with yellow undertones and some greenish tones. And I think it's quite fascinating because, yeah, that's also why I called it Wither, because I think it's almost between like greenery and, you know, the dried plant leftovers. So it's very interesting, I guess. So this one is Wither, also really great base for a colorful color work. And I will show you next to Antique. So Antique is a bit more greenish in undertone, and Wither is a bit more yellowish, but has some greenish flecks still. It's very hard to show on camera. But yeah, this is how it looks. Let me also put Almond next to it, because this is more like, you might think it's similar to Almond, but Almond is more neutral beige and doesn't have the yellowy, greeny shades. Wow, very difficult to show. I hope this helps. Sticking to the kind of greenish shades, we have this one, and this one is called Sencha, and it's like a light, soft, grayish, minty green. Followed by the last green, which is Matcha Latte, and it's a very true light mint green. It's a bit lighter than our matcha colorway that we had a while ago. Sorry for the light issues again. So I called it Matcha Latte this time, because it's almost as if it's like diluted with a little bit of milk, which I actually quite like. It looks a tiny bit more cool toned on camera, I would say, than in real life. It has a little bit more of a warmish hue. Maybe this is pretty close to it. But yeah, next to Sencha also for you, so you can see how they play together. And I should also hold Sencha with the other greenish shades. So this one is Sencha. In the middle we have Antique, and then we have Wither on the side, just so you know the difference. All right, I have one last neutral-ish kind of tone, and this one is Linnen, and it's like a beige with a rosy undertone. Although I would say the rosy undertone is a little bit stronger on camera, but yeah, it's this kind of soft beige with a little bit of a rosy tone. And it's quite nice because I think, you know, I mostly dye my lighter colorways on the gray base because it gives a lot of heathering, but this one is not so heathered, a bit more solid, because it's dyed on the ecru base. So this one is called Linnen, not to be mistaken with the yarn base Linnen, which is also written differently because it's inspired by the old word for flax. But anyhow, this one is Linnen. This one is Golden Hour, and it's a nice golden yellowy mustard, if I may call it like that. It's a very nice shade, I guess. It's a very autumnal shade, and as said before, I guess we're almost ready for autumn, aren't we? Anyhow, this one is Golden Hour. Transitioning into the slightly more pinkish shades, this one is Petal, and it's like a light, coolish undertoned pink. Also dyed on the ecru base, so it's a bit more less heathered. And then we also have Blush, which is a little bit more heathered, dyed on the gray base, and also a bit more warm in undertone, like a warmish, rosy warmish, wow, a warmish rosy tone. That's what I wanted to say. Sorry. But yeah, this one is Blush and this one is Petal. They do show up a little bit weirdly in this light. I hope that we're gonna have not too many light changes anymore. But yeah, this is how they are looking. Next up, we will have almost like a cult classic by now, and this one is Lavender. It's a nice bluish undertoned purple, almost like with a grayish undertone, which I really like. So this one is Lavender. Next up we have Mellow, and this is like a beautiful purpley pink tone, and it is Mellow with an A, so the flower. Mellow. So, and this is all of like the more solid tonal colors. And last but not least, I was very inspired by some, even if it was only few, but some of the summery days that we had. And I dyed some nice summery shades on like more variegated, fun colorways. This is very hard to do with natural dyes, and I'm very happy that I managed to figure out a way on how to do this, but it's not easy, and therefore I cannot really do them like, okay, natural dyeing is not easy anyways, but I really have to carve out some extra time and a different process than what I can do with my daily dye jobs, and therefore I cannot really do them very often, but I wanted to have a bit of inspiration flowing, and these are also all very one-of-a-kind ones. I mean, I say this all the time, that natural dyes are very unruly and wild, so, which is also the beauty about it, but they are very hard to repeat. But these ones, I did not even attempt on writing down what I did, because I just let inspiration flow, and it was very fun. So before we lose light completely, let me share them with you. So this one is called Snapdragon, and it's a beautiful pink, blushy pink shades and some purpley hues on a white base, and I absolutely love it. So this one is Snapdragon. Next up we have Buttercup, and this one is almost like sunny, very sunny colors, oranges, yellows, soft peach shades. Very cute, very summery, I would say. So this is Buttercup. Next up we have Clover, and this is all kinds of fun, different greenish shades, greenish, bluish, grayish shades. So this one is Clover. And lastly, we have a shade that's almost a mix of all of them, and this one is Meadow, and it is my favorite of the four maybe. It has yellows, greens, pinks, and purples, and it's like the summer meadow all together, which is why I called it Meadow. So this is a very fun colorway, I would say. I would almost say it looks better hung than in the skein, because you can really see the transition from one shade to another, because I don't know if that's even visible here. But yeah, the shades, they actually, whoops, they actually flow into each other. So there is no like harsh, here you can see maybe with the green, that it actually flows into the yellow. So yeah, this is very fun. Quite happy with how this one turned out. Especially because with these shades I also used, some of them are actually, I used some dye leftovers from other shades, so yeah, they're also minimizing waste. But you never really know how they turn out. Even with like my knowledge, I cannot 100% manipulate natural dyes to the extent that I 100% know how they're gonna turn out. So that's very exciting, and I'm quite happy with how they turned out. So before we lose the light completely, here are they all next to each other. I think they're quite fun and out there, I would say, for my situation. I usually dye more muted shades, but I don't know. I was really inspired by the summer, I guess. So that was it for this month's collection. Let me get to the last admin section and tell you everything you need to know about how to purchase and how to get your hands on these yarns. All right, the admin section. All of the yarns that I just showed you, all of the bases, all of the colorways will be launching this upcoming Friday on the 25th of July at 8 p.m. CET, which is my European Central Time Zone here in Germany where I am. And yeah, as I always say, if you are eyeing a certain colorway, it is very advisable to be on time. I can never predict which colorways will be doing well or which ones will be popular, because it's very individual which ones you might like and which ones you want to get. So it's very hard for me to predict, and I always get very sad when I receive emails like, or messages like, oh, I didn't manage to get my shade or something. It's really sad for me too, because if I could, I would love to make everything available as much as I could and even more, and you know, but after all, I'm just a one-woman show, and there is not more that I can do. I have a lot of lovely help from my family and partner and, you know, friends, which I'm incredibly grateful for, but there is only so much I can do, and yeah, it's limited. So yeah, welcome to my TED Talk, I'm sorry. But I just wanted to say that it's always advisable to be on time, and by on time I mean really on time, because I think there is sometimes a misconception. I've had someone message me that they said they were on time half an hour into the update and didn't get the colorways they wanted. By on time I mean really on time, like 8 p.m. And I don't want to stress or anything. It's just that I advise you to do this because, yeah, sometimes some colorways that I didn't predict to go well, they go well, and vice versa. It's very unpredictable. And if you are just eyeing something, I just recommend to prepare yourself, take some time to actually inform yourself. Maybe email me if you have any questions about a pattern, an amount, something. And yeah, come prepared for the update, because this is what ensures that you will have everything you want and that you will be happy after shopping the update. So yeah, and speaking of emailing me, I am doing my best to monitor my emails pretty closely in update weeks. However, I cannot also monitor my Instagram DMs because I just cannot. I always do my best to also reply to DMs, but sometimes they just slip because, you know, sometimes someone else replies and then the whole inbox looks like a mess and I might miss a DM. So it's always, if you have a question or you need something, you can always email me, or I usually also post at least the one question sticker before an update into my Instagram stories. These are also very good for me to follow because I can just click on the sticker, and that it's going to show me all the questions. So that's also an option. However, Instagram DMs, please bear with me if I don't manage to reply, because sometimes I just don't see them. It's not that I do this on purpose. Sometimes I just don't see them. So email is always best. Yeah, other than that, I guess always feel free to message me also about amounts. As said, don't hesitate. Like, I'm here. This is part of my job is to help you choose the right amounts. And it's always better to, you know, double check before rather than having an issue afterwards with too little yarn or something. So I guess, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Just don't hesitate to contact me if I can help. And I guess that is everything I wanted to say. If you want to, you can also sign up for the newsletter, and I'm going to send out a reminder the evening the update goes live. And if you have trouble with finding out your time zone, there are multiple websites out there that you can just type into your time zone and see how it converts to the CET time zone. That's very easy. And I guess now we are getting to the end of the video. Thank you so much for listening to my rambles. I hope you're gonna love this collection as much as I do. As said, it's gonna be the last time we'll have linen available for this year. And it's also going to be the last collection for a while if things go as planned. Not for a while, this sounds very bad. However, I'm working on another project in August that I'm gonna share about soon. But there might not be a collection in August. So if you've been eyeing some yarn from me, then now is a good time to shop, because it might be that it takes until September until I update again. So I guess now I'm actually done with the episode. Again, thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting me and, you know, watching my videos and purchasing yarn, or just, you know, liking whatever I put out on content. And thank you so much, and have a great weekend, and I guess see you in the next one. Bye!